Move on here and look at the body of the speech. So before we move into the body, there's something very, very important we need to add. It's the very last thing you say in an introduction, and that is the thesis statement. This is a huge part of your speech. Have any of you ever heard the saying, in public speaking, you tell your audience what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, then you tell them what you've already told them? Have you ever heard that? You wonder, why in the world? That doesn't make a bit of sense. Well, actually, research shows that in marketing and advertising, if you tell your audience something 3 or more times, they are more likely to remember it. They found that in marketing, if you use your product name in a television commercial 3 or more times, your audience is more likely to remember it. And is remembering the product important? You spend millions of dollars a year in marketing. You want to make sure your audience knows what's going on. You ever seen a television commercial and thought, that was really cool? What's that about? Yeah, that's what you do not want to happen as a marketer. They're entertained, however, they have no idea to go out and buy your product because they don't know that's what was being advertised. So we do the same thing in public speaking. If you want your audience to remember what you've said, you give them the main idea here 3 times. The first one is you preview it here in the thesis statement. Later on in the body of the speech, at the second time, when you give them the information. And then in the conclusion, we summarize. So today I've told you about. You go back the 3rd time, they're more likely to remember it. Thesis statement is very, very important. I'm going to list it out for you what exactly to say. But first, I need to have a couple main points. So if you're looking at the body of the speech, on your 5 to 6 minute speech for this class, you have time for and no more than 2 main points. 2 main points. You have a big idea that you're trying to get across, and 2 main points within that. No more, no less. Not 3, not 5, not 1, but 2. Only 2. So, if we're talking about sleep, what might be our 2 main points? We're talking to college students.
How much you need.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Let's talk about the importance of it. I spell importance correct. And then kind of a sub-point within that would be the need, how much, right? What else might be within the importance of it?
The benefits.
The benefits. Maybe the medical side of it.
Lack of it.
Okay, maybe the what happens when you don't get enough? The negative effects due to a lack of sleep. Good. This is your main point, and these are called sub-points. It's all part of that. It's kind of supporting material. We're going to talk about the importance in these 4 areas. Well, the second main point would be maybe
how to get it.
Exactly, you're right. It's a good one. So, talking about the importance of it, and then say, well, now that we know it's important, here's how you might be interested in doing this. Okay, so kind of a how-to on the sleep. What are some ideas as sub-points here?
Right.
What kinds of sleep?
How long to sleep.
Okay, so the length of sleep, like Kylie said.
Yeah, like what kind of sleep? Like, should you take more naps during the day or longer?
Okay, like the cycles, naps, that type of stuff. Good. What else are we talking about as far as how to? How about time management? Now remember, you're not telling your audience, you should do this, and here's how to do it, so you need to make this change. Isn't it true, though, that though your goal may not be, and should not be, to persuade, isn't it true that if you show your audience the importance of it, and here's how easy it is to do it, and they can realize that, you mean I'm losing all these brain cells, whatever it may be, because I'm not sleeping, and this is how easy it is. I'm not going to tell you to do anything about it, but sometimes common sense says, maybe I should start sleeping more, right? Okay.
Or what if you give the importance, and then for each importance you give a how-to in the how-to.
How to be more healthy, how to benefits, how to.
Yeah.
Okay, just kind of match those up. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, but now I have 2 main points, and that's really important. My 2 main points, and I stick with this organization. When I'm talking about point 1, I only talk about point 1. When I talk about point 2, I only talk about point 2. I don't go back and say, oh yeah, I also want you to know that it's important because this. No, we're sticking with the how-to only. So we have the two main points. I'm going to take this thesis statement and put it up here where it's very visible for you all. I'm going to rewrite thesis statement. This is the last part of the introduction, but I'm just going to put it right here where you can see it. This is a very, very, very important part. I want to hear this loud and clear on your speech. Today, I hope to inform you about point 1, point 2. So in this case, what would you say if this were your speech? These are your two main points. Somebody read this for me.
Today I hope to inform you about the importance of sleep and how to do it.
Exactly. You're exactly right. It's very cut and dry. Today I hope to inform you about the importance of getting enough sleep and how you can go about assuring that you have enough sleep. It's pretty simple, right? What does it tell your audience?
What you're talking about.
Well, it tells them, look, heads up, here's what's coming, right? I want to talk about these two main points today. So then when you go to your first main point about importance, they knew that was coming, and they realized that is one of your main points. Then when you go to the second one, how to, they realized that was coming, and they recognized this. It's all about keeping them into an organized pattern where they can keep track of what you're saying, where you are, how it all flows together. It's kind of a big map we're flowing through. But we don't just say, today I hope to inform you about the importance of sleep and how to get enough sleep. Point 1, importance. It's much more conversational, right? Today I hope to inform you about the importance of getting enough sleep and how to ensure you get plenty of sleep. First of all, let's talk about the importance of sleep. What did I do right there? I did what's called a transition. So you're going to make sure that when you write out your speeches in this outline format, this is what's called a keyword outline. See, I don't put word-for-word sentences here. I just put, okay, in this spot I'm going to talk about the benefits. That's called a keyword outline. So here I would label a transition, and I would label it, first of all, something like that. It's not rocket science, it's just a transition conversational element here. First of all, let's talk about point 1, the importance of sleep. Where else will I need a transition?
When he's going into the how to.
Exactly. And the transition right here. And what might that say? If I said first of all, there are other options here, but if I said first of all there, what might I say now?
Next.
Good, next. Second. Lastly. Something like that will work great. Now, when I look at the conclusion, which is the last part, I also need to transition to the conclusion. Someone give me some ideas here. What might I say if I'm signaling to the conclusion? There you go. That's one of the best ones right there. You can think too hard about this if you're not careful. In conclusion is a good example. What else?
Yeah, no, not get that last one right.
Okay.
Some people say like to wrap up.
Summarize.
Okay, because it is a summary, right? So it's summarize.
Like, so to summarize, you know.
Okay, good.
Some people say like to wrap this up or
Okay, good.
something like that.
Good. Now, so let me have a good idea. Say lastly, and there are other words that sound like they would work, but we have to be careful because if we use certain words like lastly there, some people think we're signaling what? Good, a third point. You're exactly right, another point. So we want to make sure they know we're moving to a summary, a conclusion, a wrap up here. In conclusion. Now, when you say the word or the phrase, in conclusion, I want you to summarize, give a final thought of some kind. There's no new information